Good, Mape. Oh, yes, I am. So welcome back. While we're waiting for others to join, whatever I was saying in the last session, does it make sense? You know, feedback sometimes is very good. Did it make sense? Lumbuka?
Yes, Rev.
Does the last session make sense? Or what made sense for
Yes.
you?
Yes, we are following. I think I appreciated your concept of how the family is the most important unit of an entire society or generation, and how what happens, because I think me being a scientist, I kind of related with how everything begins from the cellular level. It's something I teach when I'm introducing neurophysiology, that the entire nervous system starts from learning how one neuron works. So if there's a problem with one neuron, definitely there'll be a problem with an entire system. So I think for me, I related quite well when you say that if we can fix families from a unit level, from the level of individual entities, then we can probably fix a whole society and bring up functional citizens that are going to add value to society. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. Well summarized. Yeah. Tandy, how was it for you? The first session? Just checking for some feedback.
No, I think very good. Lumbuka summarized it accurately. And that's more or less what I gathered. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Leonard? Leonard?
I think it has been summarized well by Lumbuka. There's no addition from me.
Okay, that's good. Mwape, before we give you at the last where you are cut off most of the time.
Okay, I think much has been spoken about, but I think this is something that I can relate to based on my day-to-day experience with people out there. To say, whenever we see a person behaving in a manner that's unacceptable in society, people often question, where is this person coming from? Which family is this person from? Yeah. Does this person have a family where it's coming from? Because a behavior can only be a reflection of where somebody is coming from. So the very foundation, which is the family, if the family is distorted, then even the products, the children, everyone coming from that family, they will be distorted in a manner in which they behave. So I think the aspect of family being the foundation of every civilized
disappeared. Someone said something. Mwape, it disappeared. Hello? Am I the only one who was not hearing Mwape? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Leonard, can you hear me? Tandy, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Also, it's Mwape who left, right?
Yes, I think it's
can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I think let's continue. Thank you very much, Mwape. That's really a good summary. So, yes. So I was saying in the other side, in the other side of the session before we came to the second session, I was saying what you called your grand times is now tremendous chaos. The grand time is just compounded misery. That's what I was saying. What you call grand, what to you is just compounded misery. The grand time is failing because nothing can be grand, like I said, unless it's basically right. Nothing can ever be grand unless it's basically right, and not right in your eyes, right in the eyes of God, right in the truth, the way nature works. You know, down inside ourselves, I was talking about atheism in the other section. Down inside ourselves, we are never atheists. As Napoleon pointed out on one occasion, it's easy enough to conquer a people, but you cannot rule them after they are conquered without the help of the truth, or what you would call religion. The truth is an inspiring factor. It gives us a motive to think bigger than we are, because it's bigger than us. It's God itself. So the family can be likened to the early Christian mysteries. Nearly all marriages are declarations of life intent. Malachi 2:14. Yet you say, wherefore have we wronged God? Because the Lord has been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. You know, I tell people there's a difference between a covenant and a contract. I use life example. I think last week we explained what a covenant is. A covenant is oneness. A contract is unity. In the Jewish times, when you entered into a covenant with someone, the priest will ask the both of you to bring salt. You bring your own salt, 2 kg salt. The other person also brings another 2 kg salt. Then the priest will mix them in one basin. And then after mixing your 2 salts, you ask both of you to take back your salt again. Then we'll say, man of God, that's not possible. So they say, so is this covenant you have made today. Covenants don't break. Covenants are unconditional love. Just like God has a covenant with us, he will do what he intends to do, whether we are whether we break the rules like we do, but he will bring us back. You know, because he says your own unrighteousness shall find you, shall fix you. So everywhere where a family has a marriage which is sanctified or solemnized by the clergy, that family has a different basis for living than those who are simply willing to go to the justice of the peace or not go anywhere. These people have accepted a responsibility. It's a covenant, it's a responsibility. It is in a home that the miracle of rebirth takes place. You guys are rebuilding a whole new world. So in the home, a miracle of rebirth takes place. The children must have the right beginning. That's what we're saying. Just like you on this group, I must give you the right beginning. The children in the home must have the right beginning. Once we have destroyed the faith of the young, it's hard to restore. Paul says, I write unto you young men because you are strong. When a young man says, I'm going to do drugs, you will not stop them. Once you destroy the faith of a young man, it's hard to restore. The family school of education is the home, or universally. They tell you you're going to start primary school. That's not primary school. The primary school of education is the home, rather. Your primary school of education is the home. The first school is at the mother's knee. Your first school is at the mother's knee. That's why we need to have right mothers having babies on their knees, because they'll give them a good education about life. So the first school is at the mother's knee. any education a child gets before they are 10. I think we have a good scientists among us. Any education, I'll say that again, any education a child gets before they are 10 years is by far the best education and determines everything they will be in life. So if you have a home, you have a baby, from 1 to 10 years, make sure you give them a good knee education, good home education. Because 10 years, the education which is before 10 is by far the best education and determines everything they will be in life. I hope this is getting to us. Without truth, no nation can be governed. That's why the earth is failing to be governed, because we followed human truth. This is an eternal truth. Education is coming into a new way of life. You cannot have integrities unless you inspire it and reward it. Integrity only comes if they are inspired and rewarded. We do that to our children. We inspire integrity and reward integrity. We make them have a grand time from 0 years to 10 years. They are in a school where they are learning to be reasonable citizens. Then we are going to change this one. Remember, the Son of Man is the Lord of the Sabbath. I said Adam has been given 6,000 years, but after 6,000 years, we are going to 7,000 years. So 7,000 years will be brought by us. The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath, of the seventh. Sabbath is the seventh day. Sabbath is the 7,000-year period of the right way man should live. So this is what we are doing now, because we are the Lord of the Sabbath. We are ushering in Sabbath through what we are teaching you, through what we are learning, through our behavior, we are going to be inculcating from henceforth. So without truth, no nation can be governed, like I said. You see? So when I'm performing a wedding, all I'm doing, if you come to me, Rev, perform a wedding for us. When I'm performing a wedding, all I'm doing is performing a ceremony. I cannot unite these two people together. This, I will come and perform a ceremony, but I can't make you one. This you must do on yourselves. That's what the Bible says, the man shall live on himself. And then he said, and the two shall become. Becoming is a process. All I'm doing is a ceremony, but I cannot make you one. This you must do on yourselves. They have to unite each other. They have to make each other one internally. They are building a home because it's a spiritual investment. The unexperienced, emotion-dominated person with no understanding of the responsibility of life is in a poor position to make a good marriage. So an individual is a spiritual being. That's what I always say, because remember, truth is spirit. The individual with the word of God in them is a spiritual being. The mere fact that we are here alive prove all things. So every perversion that we make is a resentment of God, and we cut off the strength of the spiritual connection with God. The inner life demands more than we give the outer life. The inner life demands more than we give. Remember the inner man, which is the spiritual, when the word is in you, you have the inner man, the truth, the Christ in you. The inner life demands more. There is a lot of, it demands more. The inner life demands more than we give. The outer life does a lot of compromise, and we get into trouble. Your outer life, that's why Christ says, go inside, shut in with God in the secret place. The secret place is your inner life. Begin to understand that the inner life demands more than we give. That's why we sacrifice a lot for our, when you are in the truth, it's not about how you think, it's not about how you feel. It's about what is right. The inner life demands more than we give. The outer life does a lot of compromise and we get into trouble. So, folks, we have a duty to grow and a duty to make sure the world around us grow. Because when we grow, the world grows. Something must be done to teach the children before it goes to school, in your home. The school is at the mother's knee, like I said. We do not need fun. Please, listen to this. We do not need fun. We need to enjoy the glories of a good life. You see the difference between fun and the glories of a good life, because we have brought it through the understanding and the obedience to the truth, which is God. Are we together? Is this making sense? I know I've spoken a lot about this part. I needed to. We need to begin, like I said before, the Messiah, when the Messiah shall come, when the Son of Man shall come, there will be a lot of re-education. What we're doing is re-educating ourselves. So there is a lot of re-education, which is what we are doing. And like I said before, if you're going to begin to see these things which I'm telling to you begin to have an effect in your life, you need to be consistent. You need to subscribe to this thing. You need to be part of this family. Because if you're not part of this family, anything of this family will not make sense to you. It will just make you feel good. It will just be like a quick fix for you. So we need to begin to understand and know how to live. Mwape, how many minutes do I have? Mwape?
We have about 19 minutes.
Okay, I can talk about something. I wanted to remind ourselves, because we are in a time where we need to begin to be careful of what we do. Of course, we have to talk about, we need to restore the integrity of marriage today, because that's where everything hinges. I wanted to speak again on how this man is made of, ourselves. The biggest part is that we have the Christ in us, the spiritual part of us, but we also have the physical part, which is the body. You see? And this body, sometimes we fail to keep it safe. I've talked about this, but I thought I should talk about it because Paul says, sometimes say the same thing again, so that it's emphasized. Because where we are going now, we need, as you can see, the earth is damaged. We need to be careful how we live, how we behave, how we eat. You see, so we need to begin to relearn these things we have talked about. We need to remind you. Already we know that in this time of COVID-19, we need to make sure our bodies are okay. They're not prone to, we don't take them to a level where our immune system is failing. Because even a simple flu of COVID-19 will kill you. That's what it is, it's a flu. You see? But we need to know what to eat. Maybe today, let me just touch on the food we eat a bit, so that I know if someone can also chip in and help us understand. So like I always say, when I'm trying to talk about food, sometimes I'll bring in the Indians, because they have learned a lot of sciences in their food, and sometimes they led us astray in some of the thinking that the food we're eating was okay. So there's a saying in Indian culture that as we be, there's a saying in Indian culture that as we be, or as I am, as we be my food, so as will be my food, sorry, the Indian culture says, as will be my food, so will be my mind. You know, these things, remember that the nature itself teach you. Even scientists who are here will tell you, the food you eat determines your mind. As will be my water, they will say, as will be my food, so will be my mind. As will be the water, so will be my vocabulary, my words. Remember, water is a sign of the word, isn't it? So, which means food is not just nutrition for the body. Food is vibration. I've talked about this. Even when you start preparing your food, start going into the way of trying to live a healthy life. Food is vibration, it's energy. It has 3 categories of food. We have got 3 categories of foods. If you can ask a nutritionist, they'll tell you. I told you, God gave Adam to learn the 4 corners of the earth, and Adam understands a lot about these things. And I told you, you'll be a fool not to listen to him. See, it has 3 categories of foods. Foods, these 3 are foods in the mode of goodness. 1. Foods in the modes of passion, and foods in the mode of ignorance. So if I want to have a passion mind, I will eat passion food, not ignorance food. So remember, you are what you eat. Remember, food also, like I said, as will be my food, so will be my mind. As will be my water, so will be my vocabulary. So those 3 foods, food, mode of passion, food in the mode of ignorance, food in the mode of goodness. So I want divinity, purity, peace, happiness, but I'm consuming foods which has violence in it. That would be wrong. So if I want to be a passionate mind, if I want to have a passionate mind, I'll eat food, not ignorance food, but food of passion. So if I want divinity, I want purity, I want peace, happiness, I'm not going to consume foods of violence. It just won't match. So if I want to have a clean, pure mind, it begins with the food I eat. Spirituality and science. You need to understand how to keep your mind well. It's not a belief. Belief is religion, I told you. So, but if you do the right things by the truth, that's truth for you. If you don't get the truth right and you don't do the right things, you won't believe in whatever is said by the truth. So keep learning the truth, keep listening to the truth, keep adhering to the truth. Don't reject without experimenting. Even Paul told us about the Bereans. Whatever he told them, they went to find out, to see if what Paul was saying was so. We all know that animals have feelings. Let's begin to understand these things I'm trying to say. We all know that animals have feelings, thoughts, emotions. You see? We all know that animals have got feelings, thoughts, and emotions. We all know what happens in the slaughterhouse. So we just have to pause and think for a second, folks. What does that animal go through in the slaughterhouse when you're killing it? What are the emotions? Remember, we said animals have got emotions. So what are the emotions that are there? It would be hatred, anger, resentment, fear, pain, hate, helplessness. And this is the emotion of that animal for many days. Before an animal is killed, they take it and they start to feed it in preparation for killing in the slaughterhouse, and they sing the blood of other animals which have been killed. Don't know what's going on inside itself. And after this spectrum of emotion comes violence, because the animal is killed and then dead. And after all this, it comes on our plate, and we say protein and health. We should not have this, no. We should not have this forbidding tone. You do this, I'm not trying to say, what I'm saying, we should not have this forbidding tone. I'm trying to tell you that I'm just telling you about what we eat. I'm not saying, I'm telling you don't go and eat an animal. I'm not giving you the tone I'm using is not a forbidding tone. You do this or you will go to hell. No, that's not what I'm saying. Or you do this or you go to heaven. That's not what I'm saying. We just need to make humans aware of the consequences of actions. All I'm making you is to be aware of the consequences of action. You see? So, you see, my daughter here has given me a paper she was writing on while she's listening to this sermon, Mwango. She says because she did nutrition, she was taught that death, the word death, in the middle there's eat. So you are what you eat, death, D-E-A-T-H. So in the middle, after D, there's eat, E-A-T, death. So you are just trying to affirm to you that you are what you eat. So I'm not trying to have a forbidding tone, please. I'm not saying if you eat meat, you go to hell. No, I'm not saying that. Hear me well. We just need to make humans aware of the consequences of actions. So I'm not forbidding you from eating meat. I'm not forbidding you from meat eating. Just telling you of the consequences of what you eat, which some of you know. It is said that foods in the mode of goodness. If you want to have food which are in the, remember the 3 modes in the mode of goodness, these are natural stuff. People who eat the vegetables, the fruits, the milk of the cow, the grains. Remember, all these are farming from the earth, coming from farming, I told you. The vegetables, the fruits, the milk of the cow, the grains. When you eat this, your body becomes healthy. Your mind becomes calm and peaceful, and your inner being becomes conducive to enlightenment. It's easy for you to hear the truth. It's easy for you to listen to nature. Because remember, these are foods coming from the earth. But these foods, Cain was removed from the earth. He does not produce these foods anymore. The foods he produces are foods which make man even resent the truth. So vegetables, fruits, milk of the cow, the grains. When you eat this, your body becomes healthy, mind becomes calm, peaceful, and your inner being becomes conducive to enlightenment. So you experience peace, contentment, and satisfaction through the mode of goodness. And then the same foods, now listen, the same foods now God gave them in the natural way. The same foods, when they are cooked with the idea of gratifying the palate, you want to make it sound, it's very nice, sweet. In other words, too much of chilies. Remember, Indians thought that chili was health. No, go and research again. Too much of chilies, too much of salt, too much of sugar, too hot, too cold extreme. The intention has changed. The intention of the food, you are changing the intention of the food. Your intention is, I wish to enjoy my food. It comes into the mode of passion. Here we go. The next mode is passion. When you cook it, make it, now it goes to passion. When you eat foods in the mode of passion, this inflames the material desires. It sends the mind into a spin. Wow, this is nice. So the person becomes agitated. And then it's said that there are foods in the mode of ignorance. Remember, goodness, passion, now ignorance. The foods which are in the mode of ignorance are these. The dry foods. These are purified foods, intoxicating foods like alcohol, and all the non-vegetarian foods. When we take this, it increases our anger. Your body is tense. It's easy for you to be angry. Anger, the inclination to violence, laziness, indolence, the darkness that envelopes our soul. So all the scriptures tell you that this is the consequences of what you eat. Now the choice is yours. That's what I'm saying for. This is for me and for you. I'm telling the truth the way it is. The scriptures will tell you that this is the consequences of what you eat. These things, I'm not saying this because I read the book about nutrition. No, no, no. These things, read your Bible. God told the Jews about the foods to eat, and you tell you the consequences. You see? The choice is yours. But whatever you eat has consequences upon the mind and body. When it comes to food, what it means is that we are taking another life. Listen to this. Every food stuff, when you're eating food, you have to take a life. Whatever that is, you're taking a life, whatever that is. It may be plant life, animal life. You are taking another life, ingesting it, and you have to make it your life. All life on this planet is coming from the earth. If you eat a fruit, that fruit becomes human. Are you getting me? If a cow eats a fruit, the same fruit becomes a cow. It becomes a cow in a cow. There is a certain information. I use this, our language, for us to understand. There is a certain information or software in you. Whatever you eat, it transforms it into human. That's why you eat meat, you become big and nice, your flesh looks good. Everything you eat is transformed into human by a software in you. The idea is to eat as simple a software as is possible. That's what I advise. Eat as simple a software as is possible. If you eat the life which has a simple software, your ability to override that software and make it part of you is very good. As that software gets more complex, your ability to integrate it goes down. Especially if it's a creature which has some sense of thought and emotion. If it has emotions, you are better off avoiding it. Especially anything which has emotions near to human emotions. You should not eat it because it will not integrate itself. That animal nature will start manifesting itself in you in form of anger or whatever. Remember, it's food of ignorance. Most people are not aware that the early Christians were vegetarians. You know, I was amazed. The early Christians were vegetarians. When Christianity spread into the Roman Empire, you know, Rome just did a stand on us. When Christianity spread into the Roman Empire, when a Christian was caught, they would take meat and force it on their throat just to annoy them. Just to annoy them, because they knew if a Christian ate meat, you would wish to die. However, when Christianity got adopted as the official religion of the Roman Empire, that time meat eating was allowed by the law. Meat putrefies so rapidly. So it needs to be expelled quickly. Meat, you don't need to keep meat in your stomach for a long time. It putrefies so rapidly. That's why any scientist will tell you meat must be expelled quickly. That's why the carnivorous, look at the carnivorous animals, have very small intestines. A carnivore, a lion, it has a small intestine because when it eats meat, it has to come out quickly. You must know your science, know your life around you. A carnivorous animal has very small intestine. Food comes in and quickly goes out.
Just a reminder, sir.
Okay.
We are remaining with less than 5 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be done soon. You see, That's why the carnivorous animals have very small intestines. Food comes in and quickly goes out. The human intestines are 10 times the body length. Your intestines are very long. So when meat remains in the system for so long, it causes disease. This human body was made herbivorous. It was not made carnivorous or carnivore. If you see our teeth structure, we have got molar all the way for grinding. Molar is for grinding, vegetable, fruit, easy food. The carnivorous have got incision teeth for cutting the flesh. They don't have molars. Doesn't nature itself teach you? You are eating what a carnivore is eating when you are herbivorous. Carnivores only do linear motion of their jaws, and the herbivorous can do bidirection and grind their food. So nevertheless, as all the scripture says, after saying all those things, as all the scripture says, it's a choice that you make based upon what your goals and aspirations are. So this is the life we are living in, and this is the life Adam gave us. Now we've come to set things right using the truth. Remember, I'm not saying if you don't eat well, you go to hell. No, no, no. This has got to do with what your goals are and what your aspirations are. Amen. So let me end here. I'm now allowing people to talk about this also, those who have experiences and other things about what I've said. Does this make sense?
Rev,
Yes, please.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of it makes sense. I just wanted to take you back to the session where you were covering the teaching of a child between the birth point and 10 years old. You said the teaching is at the mother's knee.
Yes.
What is the father's role?
Okay. I'm not. Oh, yeah. And that's a very good question. Yes. What I meant was, remember, when I say mother or father, yeah, let me make that correct. Good, and thanks for bringing it up. When I say mother's knee, I didn't say mother as in feminine, or as in gender, no. That means home. Remember, we say Mother Earth. Yes, Tandy, that's very good. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a woman's role to teach a child and a man has no role. No, because it has to balance. That's why I was saying husband and wives are one. If I say mother's knee, then I'm separating them. It's oneness. Even when I say mother's knee, I meant at home, because you know, at home they're always on the knee when they're babies. It's just I used a figurative term. Thank you, Dan. Yes, it does not mean I'm separating the one structuralist of marriage. So it is not mother in a gender sense. Thank you, Dan. Any other thing, Tandy, to add on? Nothing more, Tandy?
No, thank you. Maybe just as you were talking about the food, I remember watching every time my grandma